today's news, new trade license holders must have their business active within 90 days and preparations underway in anticipation of active hurricane season. We also saw Labor Minister updating the territory on topical issues in an exclusive interview today. And Tortola Sports Club hosts major international squash tournament. For viewers, these and more stories when 284 News returns.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this thing like you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Well, welcome everyone. It's Tuesday, June 21st, 2022. I'm Kamal Haynes, coming to you live from the beautiful British Virgin Islands. I want to thank you all so much for joining us. Well, we start today's newscast with more information on the recently passed Business Licensing Act 2020, where new trade license holders will have their license automatically revoked if their businesses does not become active within a 90-day period or a date specified by the Trade Commission. Well, this is according to the Clause 13 of the Business Licensing Act 2020, which was recently passed in the House of Assembly. Well, speaking on the clause was member for the 4th District, Honorable Mark Vanterpool, who highlighted the new inclusion. Take a listen.
Clause 13 would require a license to be put into active use within, yes, it's with, but within 90 days or such for the period as the Commission may allow, and failure to utilize the license within the required time will result in the license being automatically revoked. And Speaker, I want to stick a pin right there for a moment, if I may. Let me read again. Would require a license to be put into active use. I want to circle, and I did, Madam Speaker, when I was reading it. I want us to circle that word active use. And let's hold it right there for a minute. Hold it right there, please. A license to be put into active use within 90 days or such for the period as the Commission may allow. And failure, this is, in other words, you breached it. You got the license, 90 days to get going, get active, get in action, put your business in place, you rent a space, you got to build it out, you got to hire staff, you got to do different things, and you have 90 days. You better get through 90 days and start selling or start acting.
Well, Vanterpool explained that he was concerned that the 90-day period may not be enough time to allow for a new business to become fully operational after receiving its trade license. He said even the process to request more time may not be as straightforward as it seems and could pose challenges for a new business.
I'm just raising them so that when we get in the committee, we can address them, because it can have some effects if you don't be careful. 90 days, Madam Speaker, is a short time for business to get active and going. Very short time, Madam Speaker. Very short time. And then this thing where you have to go to the Commission to get special dispensation to go longer, that is not the norm. It is saying here. It is saying here that put into active use. And my issue is that it has made it clear what it means. To get you active and going. It doesn't mean that you start putting up the nails and starting to build out the thing. It says active use, meaning that you're open for business. And then it says, or such for the period as the commission may allow. Somebody can say, oh, well, give you out. The commission may allow you to go past 90 days. And Speaker, these things come back to bite you. So let's be careful.
Well, meanwhile, former Minister for Labor and Immigration, Honorable Vincent Wheatley, said he suspects the reasoning behind the new 90-day clause. He said it is likely that such an inclusion stems from what he terms trade license hoarders, who he described as persons who have multiple trade licenses but no active businesses.
I'm not sure why 90 days, but I suspect where it may have come from. A lot of us, Madam Speaker, I call them trade license hoarders. There are a lot of persons with 15, 20, 25 trade licenses, but only maybe one active. But they don't often even pay for the trade licenses on a yearly basis. Only for some reason they may need that license at that point in time. Then they go to activate the license, and maybe at that point they may pay the back fees. I think if you're going to be a trade license holder, it should cost you something. Now, this is going a bit far if you ask me, but persons shouldn't be allowed just to have trade licenses to say they have them. And you hear persons brag about them. Oh, I have 15 trade licenses. Oh, I have 20 trade licenses. I have 10 trade licenses. When you actually check the activity, they're not active. They're only licenses on a book or on paper.
Well, moving on, viewers, where government agencies and key partners are working together to make sure the Virgin Islands is prepared following the prediction of an active hurricane season by experts. Well, His Excellency, the Governor John Rankin, CMG, who chairs the National Disaster Management Council, congratulated the members of the council during the body's virtual meeting on Thursday, June 16th, on steps taken so far and urged the team to carry on with their efforts. He said, and I quote, "The risk of hurricanes and other hazards has not gone away." He added, "Last year, thankfully, we skipped any major impact, but we should be mindful there's no guarantee that we will be so fortunate again," end quote. Well, some of the key actions taken so far to ensure that the territory will be ready this hurricane season include completing a readiness assessment for critical services within the public and private sector, completion of the territory's continuity of education plan, training for search and rescue officers, public outreach events, and a clearance of guts and waterways. Well, these and other measures were reported by head of the NDMC committees in the areas of health, finance, governance, the environment, in education, infrastructure, and public awareness. While Sister Island Coordinator Ms. Sasha Flats also shared ongoing efforts to safeguard residents on the islands of Anegada, Jos Van Dyke, and Virgin Gorda. Or Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley reminded the members that their efforts are vital to protect the territory. He said, and I quote, "As we have been preaching, especially since 2017, we must be prepared. We cannot simply hope that we won't be impacted," end quote. Well, the group also heard a report on expectations for the 2022 season from the Department of Disaster Management Acting Director Jason Penn. He said, and I quote, the different forecasters each expect in excess of 20 named storms this season. With that level of expected activity, we all have to work together to make the needed preparations as early as possible," end quote. Well, viewers, up next, Labour Minister updates the territory on topical issues, and Tortola Sports Club hosts a major international squash tournament. Well, we get to these two stories when 284 News returns.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. we're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Hello?
Wait, you had a long time. Yeah? You say you were sick? What happened to our wedding rehearsal?
No, babe. I'm actually watching the news right now. Take a listen.
Topping our newscast today, UFOs seen around Tortola Pier Park.
And District 3 residents outraged over no water supply. They simply cannot bathe. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
All right, babe, just get some rest, take 2 Advil, and I'll see you later.
Bye.
Okay, honey. I see you later. I love you.
It's clear to see that Coconut Lounge is a place to be, the coolest cocktail lounge in the British Virgin Islands. A lounge like no other, with welcoming, professional service, and a breathtaking ambiance. Not forgetting a diverse selection of wines, beers, and signature cocktails. Cozy, comfortable, contemporary. Coconut Lounge at Tortola Pier Park. Visit us today.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, Honorable Melvin Mitch Turnbull, newly appointed Minister for Natural Resources, Labor and Immigration, and 2nd District Representative, recently sat down with our Ron Grant to provide an update on matters relating to natural resources and labor. Minister Turnbull began by providing an overview since taking office 1 month and 12 days.
It has been about a month and just about 12 days since I have been appointed, and as I have been telling the staff in the ministry as well as the departments, I am on a 24-hour at a time appointment, and that's how I'm going to live my life, because I want to ensure that every day that I give to this service within the ministry, that I am giving my best. As a part of this government and national unity under the leadership of Dr. Natalia D. Wheatley, we have pledged and we have done the work, including, so far you've heard from the UK minister through the governor in his announcement and the premier, that we have done the work, put our hands to the plow to ensure that we have been given this grace to allow our constitution not to be suspended and do the work for the reforms within the COI recommendations. So as the minister now for natural resources and labor, it has been the last month and, like I said, 12 days have been intentional. It has been intense in terms of getting to understand. So persons might have said, you know, I am quiet, they haven't seen me, they haven't heard from me, which is rightfully so. But when I believe it's important that any job that you do, you must understand what you're doing. So it took a time reading, getting familiar with the laws, getting familiar with the areas of my responsibility. And I have took to meeting with, I would say, what is the quote unquote most problematic issue within the ministry, which is dealing with the labor department, and I started to deal with that first. But I have met with the team, the heads of departments. Started with the ministry, the Department of Labor, met with the commissioner and all 19 staff, including the 5 staff on the island of Virgin Gorda, to understand. And I don't just do the top-down approach, right? I just don't meet with management. My approach and my belief is meet with the persons on the ground so we understand if the systems are working, if what they're doing is working, the challenges that they have, the difficulties that they have, even the success stories that we might not be telling because it's overshadowed by some of the negatives that's coming out. So I have taken that approach. We concluded those meetings on Virgin Gorda actually on last week Friday, and now we have developed a plan. A report is going to come out that we present back to the employees.
In addressing the backlog of work permits and the length of time new and existing permits are taking, Turnbull said this.
I would say 2 things based on the research that I've done and the interviews with the staff over the last 2.5 weeks. One of the things I always believe in, I believe it in my heart of hearts, systems don't work, people do. Until you get people to work in their right fit, then you get the systems to work. So we've had challenges even with the launch of the online system that created another nightmare of itself that we're still working through those difficulties and challenges, even pulling applications out of that system. But what we have is, if you look at this entire process as a production line run, we have some bottlenecks and we have some areas that we need to one of three things we need to address in terms of our customer service and our relations when you bring a work permit into the Department of Labor. What are we doing to ensure that your application is completed before the officer receives it in his or her hand? And then it goes through a number of processes run that we have to evaluate. We have to go back and check and recheck to ensure that it is in fact effective, because at the end of it, you have delays, you have issues again with staffing, that you have one inspection officer, you have one person assigned to the employment services unit. So it is creating a challenge and a bottlenecks in areas that we want to address so that it could reduce the amount of time. Because what I said to the commissioner, Mrs. McLean, and her entire team, I want to create a system and a process that when someone enters the Labor Department of the Virgin Islands, that they get in and submit their application, pay whatever fees, and by the time they get it back, the process is as seamless as possible. So the backlog is a tremendous backlog right now. There are incomplete files. There are delays in terms of getting information back to people. And I believe one of the key things that we must focus on as well is communication with the persons whose applications are being processed. Let us respond to you and let you know, listen, we're working on it. We had a delay, we had a challenge. Your applications were missing this document or that document. But we have to ensure that we are getting back to the basics, where we understand we are serving these customers and not doing them a favor.
Well, viewers, the issue of staffing is also a matter of concern to the Labor Department. Here's what the minister had to say.
I would agree with you, Ron. It is not adequately staffed, and that is something, again, that the Premier has made a commitment, and I have ensured to the Commissioner and the persons within the territory. I've said it even in the House of Assembly just about a week ago, that we will ensure that the staffing, not just staffing for the sake of staffing, because there are some shifts that will be taking place, Ron. There are some people that we would have to move to ensure that effectiveness and efficiency is realized. So staffing from one side in terms of hiring additional people, well, we also need to make some changes and transition with some of the staffing that we had to make it more effective. So I believe at the end of this entire process, I think I said earlier, within the next 2 to 3 months, persons would see an effective change and realize the difference or the transformation within the Labor Department, specifically as it deals with workforce development and the processing of work permits.
Well, viewers, to watch that interview in its entirety, visit all 284 media platforms at around 8 p.m. this evening. Well, moving on, viewers, where from today, June 21st to 25th, the Tortola Sports Club will be welcoming some of the world's best squash players for the highest caliber squash tournament ever hosted in the BVI, the Carrie Olsen Tortola Classic, a professional squash association challenger tournament. What a draw of players is very diverse, with 14 different nations being represented. 5 of the participants are national champions, including 9-time Caribbean champion Christopher Binney. A further 2 Americans and 2 Canadians were recently in Guatemala with their national teams, along with BVI competing in the Pan American Championships. Well, also in the draw are 2 of England's best juniors, who will be looking to cause some upsets against their higher-ranked opponents. Well, there will be home hopes with players such as Joe Chapman and Luca Reach and Adam Murrells. Well, Chapman will be representing the BVI at his 5th Commonwealth Games, which take place this summer, July 28th to August 8th in Birmingham, UK. And Chapman has also competed full-time on the PSA World Tour, reaching a career-high world ranking of 98. Well, Luca Reach is the BVI's top junior athlete who competed in the inaugural Pan American Junior Games held last year in Cali, Colombia, and has a busy summer ahead of him with the Junior Caribbean Championships in June, and then the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games, where he will compete alongside Chapman. Well, Luca is improving fast, and the Carrie Olsen Tortola Classic will provide him invaluable experience of competing at the highest level ahead of the Commonwealth Games, said national squash coach Adam Murrells. Well, the event will have $11,000 of prize money and ranking points, which will help the players move up the PSA World Rankings. Well, matches begin at 5:15 p.m. and preliminary matches are free of charge, with a $20 charge fee at the door for the finals on June 25th. Our viewers, up next, an exclusive look into the fire damage incinerator at Pockwood Pond. We get to that story afterward from our sponsors.
The beautiful Virgin Islands, or nature's little secret as some prefer, where the weather stays warm and the drinks stay cold, where men in wigs get their lawyer bills paid by governments and governments lose planes, where walls are built and prisoners escape. You vacation where we suffer. BVI love.
You value traditions. Today. You value music. You value education. Family. I love you. Service.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, the incinerator at Pockwood Pond has been offline for approximately 4 months after sustaining significant damage to its control panel in an early morning fire on February 14th. Well, following the disaster, 284 Media took a team to assess the extent of the damages after getting approval from the then Minister of Health, Honorable Carvin Malone. Well, Malone led us to Acting Plant Manager Mr. Joseph Bodkin, who then authorized heavy equipment operator Jeremy Nibbs to facilitate the exclusive interview. Take a look. Well, good day, viewers. I'm Kamal Haynes of 284 Media, and today we have a very special news story here at the incinerator in Pockwood Pond on Tortola. And we all know what happened here at the incinerator on Monday, February 14, 2022, also known as Valentine's Day, while a fire broke out about 2:30 a.m., which resulted in the damage of the incinerator. Well, to be precise, as explained to me, the damage mostly was caused to the roof and the main control panel, which has resulted in the incinerator being offline until further notice. Well, viewers, I'm here with Mr. Jeremy Nibbs. He's about to just give us an insight and show us detailed footage of what exactly happened here at the incinerator at Pockwood Pond. Mr. Nibbs, just give us some information. Just let us know what happened on the February the 14th, Valentine's Day, inside of this building.
Well, a fire took place. Still unaware of how it really took place, but it was an explosion in the garbage itself that caused the blaze and caused the fire to spread, doing excess damage to the main control panel for the incinerator plant. So no damages to the structure of the machine itself, but the main brain, what functioned the plant, got damaged from the traveling of the fire through the wires on the top row, go right across here if you could see. If you could just show where it took place.
Okay, so you're pointing here in the air?
Yeah, see where the fire damages all the wires. The wires lead straight to the control panel, which is in that room on top there. Where you see the glasses, right up there. Yeah, so. Okay. That's mainly that, and this area is mostly what was damaged. But every other structure is still intact, as I know. So.
And also just speak about, were you here the day when the fire was happening? Speak about that particular day and the difficulty you guys probably would have had in trying to pump out the fire.
No, the fire truck came. They came good times. We just had a little difficulty getting water, and because we ended up getting water from electricity, so we used the water wherever the case is. Then we had to call in water trucks. The firemen were here performing their duties, helping fight the fire, which they came in record time. They responded early, and everybody was here just trying to do their part to get the fire out and under control. Basically, yeah. That's what took place. Like I said, about 2:30 a.m. all this took place leading into the morning. Roughly about, I could say 9, 10 o'clock, we were still just trying to get all the garbage and whatever was burning out of the building outside, and then we were just transporting it all of it up to the top of the hill at the landfill and
covering it and just try to get the fire out altogether. So, yeah, that's basically what happened on the day. So.
And just to paint a picture for the viewers, prior to that fire, all of here would have been garbage, basically.
Oh yeah, yeah, basically yeah, it was garbage from that one side of the floor to this side of the floor. As you can see here, the ball max. So all the garbage just catch because it was just one bundle and it just traveled and fire took over all the garbage. So.
Because even here looking, I know obviously the control panel is the most important part for the functionality of the incinerator.
It is.
But ultimately here would have been where the garbage would have been.
Stored,
and because some person would ask, okay, so why is the roof like this? But ultimately the garbage was here and that would have lit the flames.
Right.
That would have damaged that.
Right, yeah. Because when garbage in an area too, all it congested and together like that, it actually gives off gases as well. So sometimes you'll see fumes or smoke coming from the garbage. Not necessarily it's fire, but just the fumes from the gases and the acids all are connected in the garbage. So that might cause some of that sometimes. So I don't know, that could have helped contribute to the fire starting too, because like we said, we don't know. They just heard a big explosion and from there the fire engulfed. So I don't know why this could have caused it, but we're accustomed to storing garbage in here, and I mean it won't normally happen, so it will kind of force something like that happen, like the fire engulfed in here that I know of. But most other times we had garbage outside and it catch a fire, cause I guess the wind catch it and took it and fire started. But in here, that was the first time I experienced that it just engulfed like that due to an explosion. Like I said, we don't know what causing the actual fire or what was in the garbage to cause it to engulf like that. So.
And for those persons who may be wondering as to why garbage will be stored here, it's obviously the next step would be.
Sorry, this is actually the tipping floor. This is where you store the garbage, so we could load it into the incinerator plant. Where right there is a hopper. That's where the garbage is being sorted. So all of it have to be stored in this area here, so we could load it. This is the loading area for the garbage actually. So that's why it's stored in here. That's it.
Well, viewers, for that full exclusive interview, you can log on to our Facebook page and our 284media.com page at around 6 p.m. Well, by now it would have obviously commenced, but for those who missed it, you can also just log back on our Facebook page and our 284media.com page to basically view that full exclusive interview. I'm sure you would be content with what was basically said in that interview. But that's all we have for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kamal Haynes and I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of it then. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Over there. You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?